Hello, this is Mr. Taylor with Young Engineers, and today this is a recap of the 5th and 6th grade webinar on October 12th. Alright, basically we were going over the tool options on an individual object. Okay. When it's highlighted in green, you can see this bar appear below it. You have the move tool, which allows you to move in different ways. Arrows move your object in the X, Y, and Z. Be careful not to go off the work plane or hover too far above it. You can also click and drag. You can rotate your object around an axis. You can also move many of the areas by typing in distance or the axes. Then we can scale. We can do uniform scale, scales all sides proportionally, or non-uniform scale, which scales all sides individually. We can also hide our object. Be careful when doing this because that you unhide it on the far right. It's a great tool for trying to work behind certain pieces. You can also change the materials, color, and style. Here, for example. And then you have the info, which this is on Windows software. You have to go up to the top bar to find out this information on Mac. You can also do it on the Windows as well. Now these are all just a variety of export tools. Alright, now what we're going to do here is design a object. But there are different ways of designing objects, and we'll get to that momentarily. But before that, you can use your text tool. You can either add text to your work plane or on an object. If you're doing it on a work plane, you'll click on that text tool, then click on the work plane. You'll see this crosshairs appear, as you can see in the image. Then you can type the text. You can choose the font. There's a variety of styles. You can choose a text style, the height, and the angle. You may change your font type, style, height, and angle on the plane in this menu as well. And click on the text itself to move, resize, or rotate it. If you click on the text tool, then click on a face of an object, by selecting that face, you can then type on that face when you see the crosshair appear and go through the same process. Alright, now you have grouping. We'll go over this in more depth later on, but if you go to group something, you need to have the whole thing highlighted. Grouping an object allows you to move all those objects as one piece versus ungrouped objects. Alright, now you're going to design an object using primitive tools. Here we have designed a cat. It is best to start with a large piece, likely the head. It may help to use the snap feature, even though we haven't discussed it. You can try using that. That is the horseshoe magnet. And basically you click on one face, click on another after choosing the horseshoe magnet snap, and it will snap and group two pieces. Okay, there you go. Take some time and do that. Now we're going to go over the pattern tools. Okay, there are 4 types: the rectangular pattern, circular pattern, path pattern, which is a little bit tricky, and then mirror. The rectangular pattern makes multiple copies of a single object and lets you to move them in 2 directions. Okay, first off, you click on the rectangular pattern. Alright, make sure you have your object highlighted. Then basically after you use that tool, you click on your object, and then you click on directions. Directions allow you to click on a side of an edge, and you'll see this darker line appear. Now once you do that, you can either make the arrows move, and the distance will determine how far apart they are. And you can make different copies. You can pull them, and the number always shows the original copy being part of it. So if you want 4 of them, it's going to give you your original copy plus 3. And you can even move in multiple directions. And then you can also make patterns that rotate around an edge or axis using the circular pattern tool. It works very similar to the rectangular pattern tool. You just got to choose that edge. Or we can choose to rotate it about the center of a face. By default, we do a full circular pattern, but we can also pattern it for different angles, so you can change it. So I can do a full circle or do an angle. As you can see there. Okay. All right, and we will stop there.